Hello, it's Michelle Lloyd here, founder of United Art Space. I hope you're all very well. I'm starting workshops next week and there's 1,200 people signed up already. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. So it's going to be great because the more people that take part, the better, because we can give each other feedback. And I found this last time I ran the workshops, the more people that were involved, the more people that were giving each other advice and support. And it's just true that we are better together. Like when you're trying to figure all this out by yourself, it's so confusing. And sometimes someone can just give you a seed of advice that just opens up opportunities that you hadn't thought about. So if you know anyone that wants to take part in the workshops, they're absolutely free. They start next week. I'll put the link above and you can share this video and share the link. That would be amazing. So I just quickly wanted to answer a question that I get asked all the time, and that is, will my work sell? And I know that people are seeking this answer as well when they're kind of putting their work out to galleries and to people on social media. You just want someone to go, oh wow, this is going to sell loads and this is going to work, this is it. And I see it in so many people, and I get asked this all the time. So I thought I'd quickly hop on and just give my opinion on it. So there's an artist that I talk about a lot, Ashley Longshore, and the reason I talk about her a lot is because she was told for many years that her art would never sell. She was applying for galleries and being told that her work was awful, that it would never ever sell and make her a living. And she was repeatedly rejected over and over again by the art world and by the art establishment. And this isn't uncommon, so this happens a lot. And so, in fact, it happens to every artist. When you start putting your art out, when you're brave enough to start putting your art out into the world, you will be rejected. It's just part of the territories, because especially in those early days when you're not sure where to put your work. So when you have no idea and you're just kind of clutching at straws and just popping your work here, there and everywhere in the hope that someone will like it, you will have those rejections. You'll have people that just don't get your work and they go, no, you're never going to sell this. And so that's just natural. What you can do is, and this is what we'll be doing inside the workshops, is starting to get clearer and clearer on who your work is for and who will engage with it. And for some artists, that's a really hard one to answer. It's a really hard question to get your head around, because you're in the making and you don't know who it's for and you can't describe the person and you don't know where they are. And it comes from a lot of questions about why you make the work, how the work makes people feel. And this is what we're going to cover in the workshops. But when you start to connect with those people and you start to get an idea of the purpose of your work and where it would sit, because when you're just throwing your pictures out on social media, for example, if you're not clear on the purpose of the work and where it would sit, and is it to go on a wall, or is it to, is it postcards, or if you're not making that clear, then it's unclear to the people who are looking at the work on social media as well. So the more clarity you get around that, the more likely it is that you're going to sell. And so I believe there is a place for everyone. Honestly, I have seen artwork that you could look at and even to judge it yourself and just think, oh, I just don't think that there's a place for that. And people are selling it. And this is the thing with art, it's subjective. It is so subjective. So what I love and what I consider nice art, you might not have the same view. And so this is why there's a place for everyone. And the more that you can tap in to the reasons that you're making the art and the people that have the same beliefs and values as you, then you start to increase the chances and increase the possibility of reaching your people. And then the chances of you selling increases. And that's what Ashley Longshore did in the end. She stuck to her guns. She didn't change who she was as an artist. And she carried on her work can be quite crude and it's really bold, and it's quite sometimes it's quite sarcastic, and it's not everyone's cup of tea. But she's found her people now. She's found the people that have the same sense of humor as her, that have the same values as her, and that's how she got on the ladder. She started to find those people. And what you can do then is, when you start to sell, is you start to have authentic conversations. And there are things that you can do, which we're going to start covering in the workshops. There's conversations that you can have and people that you can reach that can help you sell your work. So sometimes when you're sitting there thinking about making a living and what you need to make a living and the price that you're charging, and maybe you're just selling a piece here and a piece there, and you just think to yourself, I cannot see how I'm actually going to make this into a living. What you start to do when you start to carve out your place and get really clear on who your work is for, you can then start to collaborate with other people. And this is really important. So when we think about collaboration, sometimes I think we think about making art with someone else. I'm talking about, which you can do, that is definitely a way to collaborate. But what I'm talking about is collaborating with people who have access to your people. And this is why galleries are so attractive, because galleries have access to people. But it's not just the galleries that have access to people. When you start to really think about who your people are and the message that your art is putting out into the world, what you stand for, and the kind of people that you want to attract and the kind of people that will connect with your art, you start to realize that there are probably, and well, there are people that aren't in the art world as we know it, that have access to your people that want to write about artwork in magazines, people that have events that want to feature artists. And I was talking with Marita inside our membership, because she is a fantastic ceramicist, creating cups and mugs and beautiful things that she wants people to use every day, not to store in a cupboard collecting dust. She wants people to enjoy the moment, and she hand paints these. They're incredible, they're amazing. And she's going to the art fairs, which is absolutely fine, going to the art fairs, the high-end art fairs, because her work is a higher-end product. But also we were talking about, the possibilities outside of the art world. So her cups are for people who drink tea and coffee. So there is a chance there to collaborate with companies that are selling tea, shops that are selling tea, because the people that want, the people that are buying these beautiful hand-painted cups are going to shops to buy tea and coffees and beautiful shops. So they go hand in hand. And so this is what the workshops are going to help you with. It's stepping out of your comfort zone and the normal mode of thinking that galleries are our only routes, and really starting to think about your people in a broader sense. Because when you start to really think about the people, because when it comes from making and then you want to start getting out into the world, it's all about your people. It's all about the kind of people that will engage. And the more that you can get clearer on that, promise you, the more yeses you'll start to get, and the less rejection. You'll still get rejection, and you should be, because if you're not getting rejections, then it means you're not putting yourself out there enough. That's my view on it. Excuse me. So but the more you do this work, and the more you start to think about this, and the more you start to put yourself out there, the more rejections you get, the more feedback you get, and the more you start to think about your people and where your work needs to go, the purpose of your work, what is it doing, what is it saying, who is this for, the closer you start to get. I promise you, it's nothing that you can do overnight. It's a long process that comes from trial and error. Some people are really fortunate because they strike gold really early on. They find their place, and And then it gets frustrating when you're looking in from the outside because you think I should be working and I should be figuring this out quicker than I am. But it doesn't happen overnight for the majority of people. Quite often the ones it happens overnight for as well, that it's like a success, they just hit something and it fizzles out. When you're in the long game and you're putting the work in and you're pouring your heart into this, I promise you it pays off in the end. I promise you. There was an amazing quote I read in a book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. It talked about when you plant a seed, there is so much going on beneath the soil, so much happening that you can't see. And I thought this was an amazing analogy because, you know, sometimes you can be doing all this work and you just feel like, I don't know where it's going, I don't know what I'm doing, and am I getting anywhere? But you are. Everything that you're doing and every rejection and every mistake that you make is taking you somewhere, it's taking you closer, it's showing you the ways that you need to change. And I promise you that you'll start to see the plant rise. Hello everyone, everyone's joining. Hello Stacey, how are you? Oh, I need to make a big post in the hub. Oh, exciting. I love Stacey joined the hub a while ago and she's you know, she's still finding her place, and I love it because she's been true. She got hold of something, a style of art and a great idea, and now she's parked that because she's looking for something else. And when we're in that stage of searching for our why, that's what happens. We move around. And so she's really tapping into, you know, her real truth as an artist, which is so important. She got stuck in the rut of making pet portraits because they were making her money, but it wasn't really making her happy in the end. So she is amazing because she's on fire at the moment and she's going up and down, up and down. But Stacey, your seed has been planted. Lloyd, hello, how are you? Lloyd has an amazing YouTube channel where he's interviewing artists. In fact, I should put the link in actually and share that because you should all take a listen. Sounding like the mafia when people will contact your people. Yeah. It is so true though, when you start to, quite often when you look at people that have made it and made it a success, they didn't do it alone. And I think artists think they have to, it's like this pride thing, like you've got to do it by yourself, you've got to make this work by yourself and prove that you can do this. And it's just not the case. Like when you look at people who make it successfully and making it a living, you know, selling quite a lot, it's through the help of other people, through the help that have access to your people. I remember one of my members, I won't shout her out, but she got her work through her cousin in a place. She might be watching now and thinking, yeah, that's me. And she was like, oh, I feel like I've cheated because it's my uncle, and, you know, I just feel like a bit of a fraud because I know him and he's probably only put my work in there because, like, no, it doesn't matter who they are and it doesn't matter what their reasons, you know, at those beginning stages, you just call in the help and it doesn't matter. Just get your work out there. Doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you're not like hurting people. You know, but doing it in a nice way, just calling on a cousin and they've got a place and it's in a beautiful restaurant in New York and there's people coming in. There's nothing wrong with that, and you're not cheating and you're not a fraud. So definitely, you know, as you start to grow, people will come along and you will collaborate. So it's not using other people, it's collaborating with other people who have access to your people, and they will raise your profile. Sometimes they might sell for you. And that's what you find is when you start to grow, it's not just you doing it alone. You'll start to make contacts and people will start to see in you what you're doing and believe in you. And then they'll start to maybe show your work or put you in touch with someone who can sell your work or give you an exhibition space somewhere. All comes from knowing your people, knowing what you're all about. And that's where a lot of artists I see get lost. So the workshops that are taking place next week are going to help you with this. They're going to help you see, I'm punching my fist here, they're going to help you see the mistakes that you're making. And by taking one piece of artwork, getting rid of all the noise on when you're looking at a big collection of work in front of you and trying to figure all this out, it just makes your head spin. So taking one piece of work, and I'm going to ask you some questions through worksheets about that piece of work, and we're going to get deeper on who it's for, where you can put it, And then you'll start to see the impact and the potential that you have to be able to sell your work. So I'll put the link at the top if you'd like to take part. If you know anyone that would like to join us, please let them know. And yeah, because I'm not going to be running this one for a while. Again, I'm doing something very different in January. So I'm just going to check the comments before I go. This is so true. I have had so many rejections, and each time I have thought about how I can improve. Yes, now I'm starting to get into bigger things. Still the mafia calling the help. The art mafia. I love it. Right, have a lovely day. I'm going to be live a lot because I'm promoting the workshops, and then of course the hub is open for enrolment on the 11th of October. So I'm going to be around a lot, helping you, because it's my mission to help people understand their art and help them get it out into the world, because I think it's just so important. It's so important. I see so many people think that they can't do it, and they absolutely can. So I'm going to take a breath now and get a drink. And I'll catch you all very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.